I'm here with Eugene of Jinjer, a man that doesn't need any introduction. Everybody knows this face. Everybody knows this guy. He's an absolute legend, as far as I'm concerned. There's a new album coming out on February 7th, Napalm Records, a duel coming out. I'm sure fans are excited to hear it. I'm one of the lucky guys that has had a chance to hear the whole record. So thank you very much for taking the time today.
It's always big pleasure, Pedro. Nice to see you. And we've been doing interviews, you and I, about upcoming Ginger albums for how many times now? How many releases we've covered? At least three or four. So it's a good tradition and a good habit.
Yeah, we even did one for the live album that you guys recorded in Australia. So, we're it's always a great opportunity to talk to you about new Ginger music. And I want to start off with the title of this record and the artwork. What inspired the title of the album? And then, therefore, what did inspire the artwork on this record?
Well, obviously, the artwork was inspired by the title itself. And Talking about the title and the concept of the album, it's mainly a question to Tatiana, but I can. So what I'm trying to say is that my answer may not be completely full and thorough, because I obviously cannot know everything which stood behind the Tatiana's choice and Tatiana's thinking about the concept of the album. But generally, the concept is like constant. Tatiana wanted to speak about the constant conflict inside the people's nature on different levels, not only on the level of like it's not only about conflicts between people, but it's also about conflicts inside our inner self, and the conflict with your inner self. This is what probably she not probably, but this is definitely what she wanted to say through the lyrics on this album, is that it's like a part of our nature.
This album, from a sonic standpoint, but even from a vocal standpoint, is a lot feels heavier on a consistent basis when you look back at Wallflowers, for example. Was that a conscious choice from you guys to record both a heavier album sound wise, but also using more of Tatiana's harsh vocals versus her clean vocals?
Actually, I a bit disagree with you. In my opinion, there is actually way more of an accent on clean vocals by her. But generally, yes, the album, especially from the first perspective, may sound like a heavier album compared to everything we did before. And I would say that in some way it is. I actually did it before I said about this. I mentioned my own feelings, how I perceive the album. It's in some way this album is a step back to our earlier works, like Cloud Factory, let's say, and King of Everything. We managed to bring some elements out of those albums and implement them in the new works, in the new songs. And like always, nothing happens intentionally in this band. It wasn't like we met and agreed on let's make a heavy album. It just happened like this naturally. Everything came organically, and as always, I think it's just the music which represents how the band and individual musicians felt during the time when we were writing, when we were making the album. It just we felt like this. It happened like this. Let's say, in short.
How has been the dynamic over the years when it comes to making a new Ginger record? Has things changed over time, or you guys still take the same approach that you did in the earlier records?
No, the approach is definitely different now, mainly because of uh, absolutely, let's say, material, physical aspects, physical reasons. We live now in different parts of the world. So we cannot write music the way we used to write music, and there are definitely changes, but only positive changes, if you ask me. Actually, now, being a band with a history, being a well-established band, worldwide known, we can actually devote much more time to writing, to production. There is less rush, and there is less haste. Let's say we are not running for anything in short period. We can really have longer time making new records, and this is what happened with this record. Actually, this album took the longest to make, and I think first demos were ready back in 2022. So it's like almost 3 years in the production.
Oh,
And we, for the first time, we actually had the full pre-production range, including vocals. We never had demos with vocals before. On all the previous records, what Tatiana recorded was almost like improvisation made in the studio. Uh, Now it was totally different because we had all the songs with vocals pre-recorded. We had an opportunity to listen to them, change something. Yeah, and most importantly, Tatiana had an opportunity to learn her vocal lines and implement them and sing them way better during the final recording. So generally, the approach was different in many ways, not only because of the vocals. We completely upgraded our gears. I mean, guitars, amps, new sound for every instrument. Like not only, let's say, guitar, only also bass, and even the drums sound different, and I would say on the next level. And just songwriting wise, uh, um, for example, me myself, I've never worked that hard on bass lines. There are some demos. There were some demos which I re-recorded like 5 times. So there were 5 different versions of bass guitar for only one song, let's say. So when you have time, when you have resources, you can really step up to the next level of production, and this is what I think. This is what we did on Duel.
I agree with you. I know everybody says this, but it is my favorite Jinjer record. But I feel like I say this every time you guys release a new album. Every new album is my favorite Jinjer record because you guys have this ability to not be happy with where you are. You're always striving to be better and to keep pushing yourselves. So every album always brings something new to the table, and it's no different with this one.
But I just don't understand how it could be the other way. What's the purpose of releasing new music if you haven't done your homework, if you haven't prepared well, if you haven't improved? It just doesn't make sense to write anything new.
I know. There's bands
And
out there, they've released the same album like 3 times, 4 times. I mean, it sounds like the same album. You know what I mean? It's not the same album, but
but anyways, the approach we have is uh, a new record must be a new record, like really new, not just rearranged old one. And if you ask me personally, I just don't see any sense in releasing something which is not better than your previous works.
I agree with you. If you're going to do something, you might as well do it better and do it good. And you guys definitely did that. You mentioned production. You're working with Max Morton again. What makes Max Morton the perfect guy to work with Jinjer?
We perfectly understand each other. This is what I think makes him special. On the communication level, well, first of all, we speak the same language. And secondly, we've been working with the dude for, if I'm not mistaken, 11 years now. The very first mix he did for us was 2014 or even 13. 13. So it's like 12 years. And over the years, we developed good friendship, good relationship. Max is not just a sound engineer we work with. Max is a good friend. We keep in touch just, you know, on the routine level. I may text him and ask him how things are. He may text me and ask me how I feel. So we may talk about this and that, some news. And it's not that we just, contact each other when it's time to make new mix for the album. No. And it helps a lot because you build over the years, you build some sort of a chemistry in your relationship with people. And we are now at the point when we don't need to explain certain things. It simplifies everything. So when you know a person and you've been working with a person for 12 years, you don't need to explain some tiny little details. And it definitely speeds up the process. It makes the process way easier. And Max is one of those people who actually don't he doesn't stand at one place like we do. He has been learning and becoming better and better as a sound engineer over all these years, and he has been moving with the band and him independently only forward and forward. That's why after 5 releases done with him, made with him, we don't feel like he's like pulling us back or we overgrew him. No, we have been growing together and we are still, you know, him and us, we can still impress each other in our own way and surprise each other in our own way. And that's why our cooperation is still so fruitful.
It's so fresh too, so fresh. I gotta ask you about your bass work. The bass sound on this album is phenomenal, as it is in every Jinjer record. I think I've said this in some of the reaction videos we've done that Tatiana's vocals and your bass work are two of the incredible pillars of any Jinjer track. And not to take anything away from Vlad and Roman, but I always feel like a Jinjer song without her vocals and a Jinjer song without your bass work, it's not a Jinjer song. So those to me are two main pedestals there. How was it for you this album when it came to the bass? What did you want to push yourself to, and how do you feel about it?
Um, to say I'm happy about how bass sounds and let's say to say I'm happy is to say nothing. It's definitely it's a step up. I in some way relearned how to play bass for the new record. I wanted to use a lot of slapping on the new record, and I literally started to learn how to play double sums for this record, and it all worked very well. I'm more than again happy. I'm more than happy about everything I did on bass. And honestly, the main concern I have, just generally talking about dual, is that it's very hard for me to imagine how I'm gonna overcome me myself. Let's say for record number 6 when it's time to do it, because I definitely pushed my own limits with dual, and I pushed it so wide and so far that maybe I've come to the my natural limits, because everyone's got their natural limits, and I see my natural limits as a musician, and maybe I've come to this point already. So and it's as much as I'm happy about dual, how it sounds, how much I managed to self-express there, how much I managed to progress there as a musician, what new horizons, musical horizons I managed to open on dual. Same way concerned and worried that I just I ran out of you know not inspiration, but I ran out of resources to progress even more for next records when it's time to make new records.
I feel like you're going to discover a new gear, and you're just going to turn on a new gear.
Hope so, hope so, but it's anyway. Now, again, I am happy, more than happy. I really want to play all these songs live. This is what motivates me a lot. This is what moves me forward. It's time to share with the world the new record, the new songs, and I am so excited about going worldwide. And all these plans we have now, touring plans, it motivates me a lot. But at the same time, there is a concern inside of me, deep inside of me, which is growing little by little, that I push the limit so far that it is uh, the limit for me. It is just limit for me, and I won't be able to progress anymore on next records.
Do
There
you,
is a concern like that.
when you're working on a record like this and you're pushing yourself to that limit, in the back of your mind, does then performing these songs live ever come up in terms of, okay, I push myself to do this in the studio, but now I gotta push myself to be able to perform them night in and night out when it comes to a live setting?
Man, but if you push yourself to a certain level for the studio, it means that you are able to play this. And honestly, if you are in a position that you record something and you are not sure if you are able to play this live, it means that you just faked it.
That's
Any good musician, any musician who is just a musician, understand this. If you play it, you play it. If you don't play it, you don't play it. And the rule is simple as it is. If I really played, and I really played everything I have on the record, like from A to Z, it wasn't like sampling riffs note by note. No, I really played all those riffs, and I know that I will be able to play them live. Yeah, of course, it requires some rehearsing, and yeah, there is a lot of work actually to practice and rehearse and to be ready to play it live. And there is also always a stress to play something live first. But I'm confident I can do that because I already did this on the record. And if you feel like you are not capable of doing that live, that then you haven't recorded this. This is well, this is how I see the
do you
problem.
have a favorite Jinjer bass line from that you really enjoy playing that gives you some extra pleasure to perform?
From the upcoming album,
See, yes, yes.
or just generally? Uh, Definitely it's Green Serpent. And it's a challenging actually song because of the final bass solo. I actually didn't think about how I'm gonna perform this in a sweaty venue with 1,000 or 2,000 fans in front of me, just heating everything up. And when the sweat is literally in not on you on your guitar, but in the air. So when I was composing and recording this, I didn't think about it, and it's become a bit of a challenge because when you are literally dripping and sweat is everywhere and everything is just wet, soaking wet, playing such a gentle part at the very end of a headbanging song is a challenge. But so far, it's been cool to perform it. Yeah, really, really, it's a driving force. It's a song which drives. I We have it now in the first part of the set, and once I play it, I feel like double motivated to perform the rest of the set. A really cool song, and I'm looking also forward to perform live uh, Tantrum because this is the craziest bass lines I've ever recorded and I've ever composed. Just generally,
You know,
Tantrum is the
outside of the
most
singles,
insane.
Tantrum is one of my favorite songs, and it's in my top three favorite songs of
Thank
the
you.
album.
Thank you. It's actually one of my favorite songs too. And bass wise, again, it's just one of the craziest stuff I've ever done.
Yeah, it's a phenomenal track. It really stands out. And what a way to get things started when it comes to the record with a song like that. I know you're into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I think you're a blue belt unless you've upgraded.
Not yet. My coach is not Russian to promote me.
So I got to ask you this. I'm thinking of getting into it, but my question for you is, I've seen a difference in you as a person in terms of the way you look at the world since you started Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Has Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu helped you as a person, as a musician, as much as it's helped you to develop the martial art itself?
Uh, I was not familiar with martial arts and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu when I started in 2019 train again. I actually did martial arts when I was a teenager. And in 2019, I just got back to martial arts after almost 10 years of doing nothing. So I wouldn't say that it helped me to change my perception of the world, but it helped me to get back my perception of the world, which I once had already. Yeah, and definitely I am a happier person now doing it now. And this is the part of me which I once lost, but was lucky enough to gain back, let's say. And I'm not urging everyone to do martial arts or to do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, to be honest. It doesn't fit everybody. It doesn't fit everybody. For some, it's not for everybody, and some people just, it's not theirs, let's say. Uh, but I would say that everybody should try at least once, because you never know. Maybe it's yours.
Are you? I don't know. Have you competed? Are you thinking of competing?
No, I competed. I actually competed. Yeah,
Do you
in the
enjoy?
past, and sorry.
Do you enjoy competing? Do you enjoy that part of the sport? Pushing yourself
Yeah,
to the limit against another person?
yeah.
Uh,
I'm absolutely okay about it.
do you see a future in the UFC for you?
Man, I'm 38 this year.
You don't look
Uh,
38, man. You look like you're 25. You look really good. So,
well, I'm 38, and of course, it's a good joke talking about not even UFC, but competing on a semi-professional level. But when you are 38, uh, you just cannot compete with people who are twice younger than you are. I train with people who are twice younger than I am, and it's a big challenge. The body is just different, and no matter how you feel about it, it's just like that. You are not young, and I am not young anymore. And when I was a young dude, a teenager, I had a choice for me. Actually, I could become a professional athlete and do sports, but I just picked up the other way. And nowadays, being 38, I competed a couple of years ago last time, and I will compete when I have enough time between tours and I have uh, let's say correct time frame and mind frame for this. First of all, but doing something but it's not professional level, and doing something on the professional level like fighting or just wrestling or grappling, it's a different thing, and it's incomparable to anything. Just very hard for me to pick up the word. Uh, anyways, I don't even want to make jokes about it because it's just this is an opportunity which I missed, let's say, already, and fighting is not for me. I'll just turn the phone because I have to charge.
yeah, I think I really enjoy seeing the pictures of you training. I saw how proud you were when you got
Training, yeah,
your blue
training
belt.
and competing on an amateur level, definitely. Yeah, it's really cool, and it's a big part of my life. When I do not have an opportunity to train, I feel a bit depressed. For example, here on the ship, I would love to train, but they have no mats, they have no appropriate surfaces to roll, to grapple. And yeah, and I'm saying, and I'm repeating myself. I don't think it's for everybody, but everybody should try at least to check if it is theirs or not. So go and try jiu-jitsu in your local gym. Everybody.
I'm thinking about it. I'm honestly thinking about it. One thing I always felt about you is like you outside of the bass player, sorry, outside of the Jinjer band member that you are, you love music, you love art, and I saw a picture of you with the guys from Mopeth, and you were so happy to be there to
I will.
hang out, like the happiness in your face. I was like, he's just a fan, just like everybody else. At the end of the day. The fact that you've been able to be successful with the band and the band has had the success that it's had and is giving you these opportunities, do those opportunities keep you even more grounded and connected with the band and yourself?
Uh, well, yeah. First of all, you're right when you say that all the opportunities I have, it all came through the band. It is like that. I never had a chance before Ginger. I never had a chance to see bands I love because I just come from where I come from, and everything I have now it came through the band, and I appreciate the band for this a lot. It definitely changed my life and just opened so many doors and gave me so many opportunities in general. But I you see the question you ask me is it's very hard for me to answer because I cannot say why and the reason. What is the reason for me to stay what I am? I'm just what I am, and it's very hard for me to explain why it is like that. So
It's just for me.
uh,
We've known each other for a very long time, and
yeah, many years.
the person that you were the day that I met you for the first time in Toronto at the Opera House on a tour with Cradle of Filth, you're the same person today.
But
And
why should I be different?
I
This is what
but
confuses me.
I know, but it's amazing because not everybody's like that. And I've met so many people that have changed with success, and you're the same dude. Listen, I have a huge a debt of gratitude towards you and the band because when you guys played in Toronto years ago, my son was 12 years old. He couldn't come to the show because it was not all ages. I called you and I asked you if you could do me a favor and somehow
I
get
remember.
and you got him in. You give him an all access pass so he could come to the show and see you guys for the first time. That's like a father helping a father. That kind of shit for me means the world. And to see somebody who's had the success that you guys have had and to see you as humble today as you were then warms my heart because you don't find people like that every day.
Thank you very much. It's very pleasant to hear this. But again, try to understand me. I uh, I'm absolutely pleased by what you're saying about me. Of course, it's good to hear something like this about yourself, about myself in the case of mine. But there is no answer because I am what I am, and uh, why I choose to be the same person I used to be 10 years ago, it's just me. You do not really control as a personality, you don't really control yourself over such long periods of time. You can pretend and be something else for a short period of time, right here and right now. You can play a role, you can act, but within long periods of time it's just impossible. And this is where the real nature of a person shines through. This is the only, actually, statistics do not lie. So what I mean is that over a long period of time, you can really see what person is. And it's just me. It happened like to be like that. Well, okay, but why? There
Kudos
is
to
no
you.
answer for that.
Kudos to you, man. You have a heart the size of the world, man. I applaud you for what you do, and I see the pictures with you hanging out with your family. I see the love that you have for your kids. I hope you're teaching them some bass.
Thank you, Ted. Yeah, well, my younger one is already learning
That's
right now.
good.
Yeah.
That's great. I got two more questions for you really quick. One is, are you tired of playing Pisces?
Yes, in some way, of course. But um, we played the trick. We actually didn't play it for 1 year.
I don't think you played it the last time
Because
you were in Toronto. I don't remember hearing
last
it.
time, yes, but before that, we had the whole year of not playing it, and nobody noticed.
It's a good
So yeah,
sign. It's a good sign.
it's a good sign. Yeah, we did it. We actually, yes, we didn't play it for a very long time, and then we got it back on the set list. Last time we were in Toronto, we played it, but yeah, yes. On one hand, it's tiring to have a hit like that. On the other hand, it's good that we have it. So there are pros and cons in every situation. On one hand, it's good that there is a single which has like almost 100 million views on YouTube. On the other hand, it's bad because it overshadowed all the other big hits and singles which we had or will have in the future. So you see, it's good that you have such a famous song, but everybody will expect you to play and record dozens of songs similar to this because if you have something so popular, obviously there will be so many people who expect you to be only like that. So you see, there are pros and cons in about everything, and exactly about this song, there are so many pluses and minuses.
You guys have done everything. You guys have a great discography. You have a live album. I feel like one thing is missing perhaps is an acoustic record. Would you guys ever think of doing an acoustic record?
We constantly think about this, and this idea just pops up, comes in once in a while. Uh, and if we speak about this, definitely there is a huge possibility that one day we actually will decide to do it. But well, it's just there hasn't been time for this yet. But I never know what's going to be in the future. Quite possibly.
All right, man. On that note, I hope to see you in North America in 2025. You guys have a
Yeah,
new
we will
album,
be
so I'm
back.
sure you're going to be touring.
Yeah, actually, technically, I am now in North America, just
That is true.
on the Bahama Islands. Uh, yeah, we are thinking about. We actually have plans to come back to the States for festivals and tour, and cannot wait for this. As always, always big pleasure to come back and play for you guys.
Same here. It's always a pleasure to see you in Toronto. It's always a pleasure to see you guys perform and doing what you guys do. Eugene, man, thank you very much from the bottom of my heart, man. Really, thank you
But
for taking the time.
likewise, thank you very much for the opportunity to talk to you as always. And well, till next time.
Until next time.